right, hey everybody. I'm going to be giving you my best reaction and best commentary over my fourth jiu-jitsu competition as a white belt. I got bronze. I fought in 2 matches, so we're going to be dissecting both of those today to the best of my ability. Just kind of what I was thinking, what I think I can improve upon, and yeah, we're just going to jump right into it. So here we go. So I knew nothing about this guy. I knew nothing about the gym that he was from either. I think he was like from Arkansas or something like that, so not super close. Guess it is a bordering state, but here obviously just trying to hand fight. This is like my least favorite part about jiu-jitsu. Absolutely hate hand fighting. You can see I was trying to pick that leg up with my leg so I could ankle pick it or something and just maybe grab a single leg. Both of us are just trying to arm drag each other at this point. I remember here starting to notice that his front leg was pretty far. So I go in here for a pretty bad shot here in a second. And he locks up a guillotine, which ultimately gets us to the ground. But there were a few opportunities like this one, like that arm drag was okay, it was almost there. Still kept trying to get that leg up with my leg, just kind of kick it to myself. Fighting for collar ties, inside position. There I go for that weak double leg. Just didn't go fast enough or get low enough. He locks up a guillotine right away. This was extremely tight, and I remember thinking to myself, man, am I going to tap right now? Obviously, he's kind of got like a weird body lock, almost body triangle around my back. And I didn't even think about fighting the hand that was choking myself until about 5 seconds into the guillotine. So I was able to get out, as you see there. You see he's got a pretty big clamp on my arm. Throughout this entire match, he really liked that overhook on my right arm. You can't see it right now, but it was pretty uncomfortable. He's, trying to set up any sort of triangle or something like that he can. And just keep that overhook on my right arm. You can see there, extremely deep overhook. I had my hands locked behind me because I was just trying to make it as uncomfortable as possible for him. Putting my knuckles into his spine and things like that, just try to break his guard in the back. And it was making it extremely hard for me to posture up and try to break the guard because of that overhook. So again, I was just trying to make it as uncomfortable as possible for him. This is kind of where most of the fight was, to be honest. Most of the match was, whatever you want to call it. He kept trying to set up that triangle because he had my right arm trapped, and then anytime that he could get control of my left arm there, like he's pushing on my bicep, he's got inside bicep control there, he would just try to shoot a triangle. Eventually it worked and he was able to get the triangle. Here in a little bit, but I remember just putting the top of my head into his jaw. Again, just putting my forearms and my knuckles behind his spine and just trying to make it super uncomfortable for him. Again, just try to break his guard in the back. Was trying to listen to my coaches here, but again, I was not again, but you can see both of us are pretty tired. Obviously, I knew what to do here, try to posture up, but he had a good grip on my tricep here and immediately pulled me down when we reset. He was still fighting for that inside position on my left arm because he had that right arm trapped. I was just trying to posture up as best as I could. I couldn't really get any C grips or anything into his armpits or on his hips. Here he's got that inside position on my left arm, fighting for a triangle, getting his hips higher and his legs higher. My coaches were telling me to go for a straight ankle lock or something like that, but I knew he could hear it too, and this is when he shoots the triangle. So my first thought was just posture up. I was already stood up, so I was able to get out of that, just go right back into his guard. I was trying to pass into side control, but he did a good job with guard retention and kind of switching his hips back towards me before I could get on top. I think there's about 2 minutes left here. I was extremely tired. I think both of us were. I knew pretty quick. As soon as I escaped that guillotine in the very beginning of the match, I knew this was going to be a really hard fought match. He's just playing that overhook game. I was able to build a little bit more height here. My coaches are yelling just for me to posture up as high as I could, but that overhook was just deadly that he had on me there. It was just in a great spot. Trying to push my forearm into his jaw a little bit, and here I really started to get some momentum and get some progress here. I was really stacking him pretty high on his neck and his back. He really liked that, clamp arm bar on my left arm there. Eventually right here I was able to break his guard. My coaches were telling me to go for a straight ankle lock, but since he was right here, you could hear them too. I didn't really want to go for that play. And eventually I was just able to kind of smash pass and get into side control and then right into mount, or quarter guard actually. And my plan here was just to kind of try to punch choke and Ezekiel choke for position, see if he would move his arms at all so I could set something up, arm triangle Americana or something. He's kind of grimacing under there. I was just trying to put as much pressure as I could on his face. But he's still kind of a little bit safe here with that quarter guard, and I knew it was kind of frustrating because we were on the edge of the mat. I probably could have shot some sort of armbar here if I had my left leg higher, but me being off the mat like this, that little angle just didn't feel comfortable to me. So I was still just trying to go for an arm triangle or something like that. They reset us, I think, with about 20 seconds or so here in the middle of the mat. And I knew I had to break that quarter guard whenever the ref set us up. Obviously, full mount, I feel extremely comfortable here. I hope, I would think that everybody feels comfortable in full mount. It's one of my best positions. I feel like I can hold people here pretty well. But I knew I had to escape my foot, so my first thought was to kind of just put pressure right into his face to allow some time to get my left foot, my left ankle, and his hip, like I did right there, and then kind of start to push like I just did to get full mount. Just going for Ezekiel and punch choke to move his arm. I was trying to isolate that right arm for an arm triangle like this. I was able to catch it. I needed to get my hips a little bit higher to use my knee as a wedge as well, but just didn't have enough time. I could feel he was just too strong, so then I started going to the other side, try to set up an Americana or a Kimura or something. But yeah, I just didn't really have enough time. He was fighting really well, and then the ref stops us there. We go to overtime. You can see both of us are really tired. And I guess since I was on top for I was on top the entire match, and had more control time, he asked me if I was wanting offense or defense first. So I chose offense, and I chose to take the back. We can either do take the back or like spider web arm bar position or something. And this is not a very good position to me. We actually just drilled this right before I stepped on the mat, to be honest, one of my coaches. This is where I knew I lost the match. Couldn't get any sort of body triangle locked up, and he just slithered right out of my control. Really frustrated with myself that he got out that easy. Extremely frustrating. And immediately with this, even though I just drilled it and knew what to do, you'll see he locks up an instant body triangle that just really made it hard for me to escape right there. Even when I shot my hips low try to get to the mat, that body triangle just really stopped me from doing anything. I was trying to fight for my head to get to the opposite side. That wasn't the choking side. Eventually I started to use my free hand to try to push his head over like this. But nothing was working for me because that body triangle, it was just so ridiculously tight. Couldn't really do anything. And right here he starts to put some pressure on my teeth right here with the mandible choke. It's not anywhere near the neck, but it just hurt my teeth and my jaw so bad. And I'm just kind of reflecting on my camp, and just pretty disappointed in myself because I felt that I had I had done well throughout the match to stay on top. All right, second match, here we go. So I kind of wanted to take a little bit of a different approach in this one. I felt a lot more calm. Obviously I couldn't win gold at this point, so wanted to try something else. I'd kind of double sort of collar tie and just pulled him into my guard. I really like playing guard. I feel my strongest whenever I can honestly be in this position and work for sweeps. It's something I really like to do. So I wanted to try my hand at this instead of trying to play guard pass the whole time. Here I was trying to set up some sort of shoulder crunch armbar or shoulder crunch sweep. That's kind of what I thought my game plan was going to be going into this match. As soon as I got to the floor, it's what I knew I wanted to do. He was doing a really, really good job at keeping his hands pretty tight and locked together. Here you can kind of see me start to try to work for a triangle, but his elbows were just not budging. My coaches are telling me to get butterfly hooks, and obviously that was in my head, and that's what I wanted to do. Some sort of shoulder crunch, butterfly sweep. They reset us here. And I didn't have closed guard. I guess I just had some grapevine, so that's what the ref is saying. But yeah, my game plan immediately, I knew that I could feel that I had the leverage on this guy, and I wanted to sweep him, and there's one there. I didn't do a very good job of settling into this position. I was trying to just rush to get as high as possible, as quick as possible, and you'll see him sweep me right over right here. Good job by him. Extremely, really, really good job by him there to sweep me back over. He's listening to his coach, I'm right next to them. But luckily, I was able to still have that underhook and fight for a butterfly hook as well, to flip him right back over. And you see me here taking a little bit more time to really get set up and get grapevines and just smother and get on top. Kind of the same game plan as the last match, just make it as uncomfortable as possible for him with punch chokes, Ezekiel's, forearm into the jaw, just anything to where I can make him move to try to isolate an arm was kind of what the game plan was for me. But yeah, again, I'm going for that arm triangle, just trying to trap that elbow and work my way up. You can see me shooting a punch choke in there. Just try to get his arm a little bit higher so I could trap it like this. Did a good job kipping there to create some space for himself. He was so strong. I mean, I knew at this point, I'm like, man, my arm's already gassed from the first match. Like, I didn't think I was going to be able to get this at all, so I just kept trying to threaten that Ezekiel. I was really wishing that the ref would reset us in the center too. I don't like playing close to the edge of the mat. It just feels off, and I feel like I just am running out of space. Obviously, my head's hitting the ref's legs and stuff now, so not the most ideal position on the mat. But as soon as I posture up here, he resets us. My coach started telling me to go for a 2-on-1 for an Americana or something, or a gift wrap, or bait the gift wrap. So that's what I'll start in here. Is that 2-on-1? I think I had my grip wrong. Maybe should have switched my underhook or my supinated grip, but still punch choking, trying to just do whatever I could. Eventually his left arm comes across really quickly right there, and I was able to lock up a gift wrap. You can hear my coach kind of yelling for my knees to, my right knee to get higher on his head and my knees to get close together to pinch them. I was trying to work also my left leg higher up on his body and was able to do the gift wrap back take. Couldn't lock up the body triangle. He was just really, solid, had a solid frame. My legs weren't flexible enough at this point to really lock that body triangle. He kept trying to turn away from me, followed him, and then accidentally pulled just a face crank, and I'm disappointed in myself. I know it's combat sports and it's jiu-jitsu, but I felt horrible about that face crank. What I was just literally just trying to do was slide my forearm, kind of on his forehead so I could pull his head up and get under his neck for a rear naked choke. Turns out I kind of hit his nose pretty hard, and he tapped from that. I apologized to him like 4 times after the match. It's not something that I'm trying to do, but it's something that it just happens, unfortunately. So I got the win by face crank, I guess, technically. Not my cleanest submission by any means, and will try to do everything in my power to avoid something like that again, just because it's, something that I wouldn't want done to me. So I felt horrible about that, but that was my match win for the tournament. Went 1-1, fourth tournament as a white belt. Got a few more planned here in the next couple months, but that was my take and my commentary as a white belt. So if you saw anything that you think I could do better, or some things I did good, would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. But I appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one.